Funny.
All right, I think we might be live here.
All right, scary time. I'll edit my verbiage.
All is good. Well, welcome everyone. I have Beverly Whipple from ERA Brokers Consolidated. She is also known as the Tatooed Realtor, and we're very excited to have her here. She has some amazing marketing that she does. I call it outrageous marketing. And unfortunately, I'm in a working office, so I do have some background noise if you can hear that. So I apologize.
Office. I don't work in my office, so I'm not familiar with that term.
Yeah, I can't work at home. But it is happy hour, so cheers.
Is it water or is it vodka? I don't know anymore.
We don't know, but I have an idle speed from Palmetto Ale, so
love it.
Let's at least we'll cheers to that.
Here we go. Cheers.
So happy hour edition. We normally run these at like 1 o'clock.
I'll take it.
Well, anyway, so let's get rolling. You know, I've known you for a few years now, and have enjoyed getting together at conferences and different events, and of course lately sitting on multiple Zooms and seeing you on those things and hearing from you. But tell us a little bit about who you are, a little bit of your background, and maybe what you want people to know about you before we get rolling.
Oh, goodness. So I've been a full-time realtor now for 5 years. I was actually the staff manager of a local brokerage for about 6 years. And I outgrew that position. I mean, I learned everything. I started answering the phones. I put in listings. I ended up cutting commission checks, onboarding, offboarding. I did everything behind the scenes. And I said, well, what's stopping me from being in front of the scenes, other than a nice cushy paycheck that was guaranteed every other week, right? And health benefits. So I got my license actually in February 2015, made the big jump to full-time realtor in June 2015, and I haven't looked back since. And since then, like you mentioned, I've really branded myself as your tattooed realtor. And what's funny is when I created that brand, I did a little bit of searching around, and I liked the your part. So there's other tattooed realtors or the tattooed realtor, but using the word your just kind of made it personal to me. So just a quick story behind that is one day I was pretty brand new. It was probably about a year in. I was doing great. I won the Rookie of the Year for my office. Things were good, but they weren't great, of course. And I took a phone call. It was a floor phone call, and the gentleman wanted to sell his house, and I could audibly hear he was an older gentleman. And so here I am. I've got my tattoos, of course. I can't really hide from them. And so I thought, gosh, do I wear jeans and a long sleeve shirt? Do I cover them up? Do I leave them out? What do I do? I covered them up. I was nervous, and I tried to hide who I was. And I showed up, and turns out this gentleman, very sweet, very nice, has tattoos. He was in, I believe it was the Marines way back in the day. So he's got these tattoos up and down his arms. And it was just really exciting. And from that moment on, it just clicked. Don't ever hide from who you are. I mean, my tattoos are me. I live in a pretty conservative area in southern Utah. So that brand in itself is really, really different. And it's such a hard concept for some people to get over, but that's exactly why I love it. I don't want to work with everybody. Not everybody wants to work with me, and that's okay. We've got over 1,600 agents. So that loops around into creating a brand for yourself. And so that's kind of, not only do I help people buy and sell real estate, but I help other agents in not only my area, but nationally, really peg down who they are, what they want to portray as kind of just, here's who I am. I also sell real estate though.
Well, that's awesome. And so the thing about it is, I've heard this a few times recently, is just being yourself and deciding who you're going to work with and who you just don't care if you work with or not, and not
Exactly.
trying to be all things to all people. And clearly, I feel like we sort of do this, or I at least do this sort of the same thing. I'm not all that concerned about working with everybody or pleasing everybody. So I certainly saw that in you, and I appreciate that. So random question. You have a lot of tattoos. Tell
And
me.
what's funny is I wouldn't even say I have a lot. People ask, well, how many do you have? And I'm like, I mean, like chair sittings. I've got some cover-ups. We have some I don't talk about that you can't see. So overall, I would say I've only got about 14-ish. So, but I do have tattoos that you can see. Yes.
Well, and that's not. There's no. Clearly, that's your thing, and that's cool. But what got you into getting those? Because you you say you're the tattooed realtor. Yes, that's true.
Yes, it is. Well, I mean, I had my first tattoo when I was like 17. Thanks, mom and dad. That's one that I definitely want to get covered up that we don't talk about. But yeah, I mean, I was the only girl in high school who had a tattoo, and I was like so proud, like mom and dad are on board. My dad has none, and my mom has quite a few these days, but back in the day, she didn't have that many. And I don't know, I just thought it was cool to get a tattoo. We all want to be unique and different. And that made me at that time unique and different. We're all in high school, like, oh, what am I going to do to stand apart? And now that's kind of rolled over into my business model. Like, what am I going to do to stand apart? Because now I'm in a business that has tons of other people that essentially can do the same thing. So what's going to get this person to call me just based on here's a 5-second, image of who I am, as opposed to not
Mm-hmm.
calling me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's where it started.
Well, so it's clearly created a unique brand for you. And before we get into marketing stuff, I know that you do really well within ERA Brokers Consolidated. I saw
Mhm.
that most recently you were number 5 in the company in units and volume.
There we go.
So and nationally, I'm assuming that translates into a pretty high position. Brokers Consolidated is a large company. So what are you doing volume wise per year? Let's not talk about 2020 as much, but in the past, what has kind of your numbers been?
You know what? I hate numbers. There, I said it. I hate numbers. I hate math. Math is the bane of my existence. I could not calculate my way out of a wet paper bag. So, with that said, I'm going to be the person that's like, I have no idea. And I know that sounds really, really bad. I have a business partner, Dave Shore. He's amazing. We're best friends, connected at the hip. He and I are like the polar opposite, but that's why we work so well together. So I call us Pinky and the Brain. I am obviously not the brain, but I'm the face of the brand. And so, gosh, I know we'd won a couple of awards. They're actually, let's see, can you see them behind me? Yeah, and I want to go. I don't even want to put a number on it. That happened so early in the year. I'm like, what did I have for breakfast? So I know last year our goal was 40 to sell 40, sell or help buy 40 homes. I want to say we hit 41 or 42. So I mean, he's pretty brand new in the business. I want to say this is his second year selling, and adorable.
It's a
And
beautiful family.
so yeah, so really it's like we have a great collaborative effort, so you can't ask me about numbers. I have no idea. Get back to me if you're really interested, and I'll find out some information for anybody who cares.
Sounds good. Well, the whole idea behind that, even at all, is just you have some what we call, or most people would say, are unusual or outrageous marketing ideas, and I've been very impressed with them. And so that does translate clearly to success. However off the wall or what I call is old school, which seems like somewhat of some traditional marketing methods that aren't quite the same as
Mhm.
normal. So bye, Lisa. Uh,
Bye,
so
Lisa.
Beverly says bye. So one of the things that I've noticed that is different, and you've got before we get into your regular real estate marketing, one thing you do that I encourage agents to do a lot is you actually really put a lot of effort into marketing for referrals. And the reason that comes to mind is because I'm on your mailing list. And so, of course, if anybody's ever moving to or from Southern Utah, guess who's getting the call?
Well, I hope it's
Yes. But tell me a little bit about what made you decide to actually go that far into marketing for referrals, because most agents either forget to ask for referrals or they figure it'll just fall in their lap. But where you are very proactive in it, kind of what drove you to that?
Honestly, it was a class I had taken very early in my career, and I love education. My idol in this business education model is Cheryl Knowlton. If you don't know Cheryl, if you've never taken a class from Cheryl, you are missing out. Because I know a lot of realtors, we think like, ew, classes CE, like it's gonna be boring. Like, oh my gosh, I have 2 hours left to get all my core credits before my license expires. Like, where can I get them? And you just sit there and you push the next button, and if you have to take a quick little survey, whatever. And it's so boring. But Cheryl, for me, has really just revolutionized training. And she is just so amped up and so happy and so energetic. You can't help but take away from these classes. So I want to say it was the SRS class I had taken probably about 3 or 4 years ago.
Mhm.
And she had made a point to mention there are other agents from other areas in this class, which actually I talked to her today, and that was actually very unique to just everything at that point. And so I live very close to Las Vegas. We had a Las Vegas agent in, and she said, hand out business cards, create connections. And I thought, well, gosh, Vegas is so close to us and we're close to them. People come here all the time, not only to vacation, but once they do vacation here, they move here because Southern Utah is amazing. And so I took time to chat with his agent. Her name is Donna Schneider, and she's amazing and she's got great ideas. And so not only do I keep in contact with Donna for referrals, but just as an agent, as a peer-to-peer, I've recognized in Donna, she's a great, long-lasting agent. I could tell, I could get that feeling from her. She was passionate about selling real estate. She was passionate about her relationships. And so that's really what started the ball rolling. And then actually when I joined ERA, 3 years ago, I was on the Porter team. And the Porter team is very well known out here and nationally as well. Dan Porter, who was the Porter of the Porter team, said, I want you to go to Fuel. And this was the first time that it was held in Vegas, 3 years ago. I want you to go to Fuel. And if nothing else, if you get nothing else, I just want you to talk to all those people. And I said, yikes. Okay, great. Sure, I will. Like, how is that helping me? But I really just put that into perspective, like, the good agents, not saying anyone's a bad agent, but the agents that are lasting out there, they're not part of the 87% statistic on turnover that our industry has, but the ones who are sticking around, who for whatever reason have lasted this long, those are the ones you gravitate towards. You want to, and we've all heard this before, you want people who know you, like you, and trust you, but my added level is they remember you. So yeah, Michael, I mean, I remembered you. We've had some great conversations. We've connected online, and it's like, I remember you, and so I just take it a step further. I want people to remember where I'm from and where I live. And the ball just keeps rolling in my head. So my referrals are very important to me. When people ask me what I do, I would say my business is in relationships. I don't sell homes. I don't buy homes. My business is relationships. And that is all encompassing, because not only am I helping people buy and sell real estate and create relationships with their home, with their neighbors, with me, all of that, but I create relationships just across the board, geographically. So people just remember me. They see my face, they remember, that's your Tatooed Realtor in St. George, Utah. So, yeah, I love the aspect of education and getting referrals from other areas. I get to create a relationship with someone across, the country, and say, hey, what's real estate like for you out there? And then just like in our collaborative efforts, Michael, online, through ERA's Next, you get to hear what other people are doing, what's been successful, what hasn't worked, and just create, again, that community, that sense of involvement and helping one another. And so just translate over into great referral relationships for me. So.
Well, one of the reasons your campaigns stand out so much is that every time it's something unique. I gave my kids your blow up dinosaur things or whatever they were.
Yes.
You always do something unique, and it's for your referral network. So how first of all, I'd like some some of your favorite examples of those. But first, before that, how successful is the campaign that you have? How many people are you mailing to, and what kind of success are you having with it? Are you getting referrals back?
So my business, this model for me is all top of mind awareness. It's brand recognition, and it feeds that whole life algorithm. I think because I think we're all ran by social media, and oh, you've spent 5 minutes on your Facebook post versus 5 seconds, so we're going to push your content to the top. Things like that. For me, it's all top of mind. Um, and it's rare. It happens. It's rare, but people say, oh yeah, I've got someone moving from wherever to here, and they'll think of me, which is great. I want to say I've had at least 5 or 6 referrals. Again, I hate numbers. I've had at least 5 or 6 referrals from my very close local markets. Vegas and Salt Lake and California are the 3 that are top of mind. Again, Donna and I have done some work together. And then it's also fun to hear and create a relationship with other agents who have reached out to me, like Sarah Carmen in Oregon. She's fabulous. And we've created a great friendship, as well as a peer-to-peer. And so I don't like to base everything on business, even though I spend a lot of money. Don't ask me because I personally, I don't even track it. I put in my Expensify and I'm like, okay, Whipple, don't look at it. Just pay the tax bill at the end of the year. I don't track how much I spend on my marketing. And I'm sorry, Dave, business partner. I know you don't want to hear things like that, but to me, it's fueling my legacy. It's fueling who I am, which is not only a realtor, but somebody who's just got the whole brand recognition. And there's something really exciting I'm coming out with, but I can't talk about it because it's in its very infant stages. But it's going to drive that business model. And so, yeah, like you'd mentioned, I am very old school with it. My second love in life was marketing, was print media. I've got an AA in graphic design. My dad was a graphic designer, and his dad was a desktop publisher. He actually had an ad in the first ever Sports Illustrated for Brunswick Bowling. So full page ad, and it was beautiful. And so I think I was born with this creative gene in me and just ready to create whatever I can. And so I had mentioned earlier in this call, what can I do to be unique and different? And that was back in high school, but it's really evolved in me. That was a question that was posed to me. Probably one of the few things I remember from college. It was posed to me in a class by one of the instructors was, what's going to make you unique and different? What makes the ad you're working on unique and different? And so I had to come from a standpoint of, I need to find out who these people are, and then I have to make other people buy based on their uniqueness. And so it translated to me, I want people to work with me. What am I going to do that's going to set me apart? And so I love all things print. And so, like you said, I'm very old school. I've got a slew of examples in front of me on just postcards and letters, because in this day and age, I think we've lost that art form. And for some reason, I don't know why, I've always loved snail mail. And I think it just goes back to, I love print. I love that tangibleness, to get something in the mail and say, oh, look, it's addressed to me. I'm feeling good today, So, I mean, there's tons of online that I do, to my referrals. I reach out to people here and there, but really it's all about that print, about holding something that's special and different and that I'm remembered for. So that's how I.
I can attest to it, because whenever something comes in the mail to me from you, and there's people in the office, we like, look, Beverly, what do you think of this? So we compare it. Yeah, so it definitely stands out. You are not thrown away. So let's talk. I mean, you talked a lot about traditional. I am a digital guy. I'm very much no print, no anytime. But I have people in my office who are big into snail mail. They use Express Docs. They use the ERA tools. Christy, my wife, is huge in postcards, and it gets her business. So what is I'm going to try to avoid numbers. I'm going to really try to avoid numbers.
If you can, I'll just deflect them anyway, so it's fine.
I've already figured that out. So you've got your strategy is snail mail. It's print. It's creativity. But you're clearly very consistent with it. And so what is your thought process when you say, okay, I'm gonna do this, whether it's a market, whether it's a neighborhood, whether it's referrals? What is your timeline? What is your, like, I'm going to do it for this long, and if it doesn't work, I'm stopping it? Or do you just do it forever until you run out of money? Or what is your strategy?
Literally. Yeah, so I've got, oh, let me reach up here. I've got, oh, I just dropped it behind my desk. I created last year, at the beginning of last year, a monthly event schedule, or, marketing schedule. That's gone completely out the window. I just all day, my brain is just thinking, and I see things. I'm like, oh, that would be a great book headline, or that would be a great marketing piece, and I'll write it down, or I'll type it down in my little, my iPhone notebook. I mean, if we printed it out, it'd probably, can you see all that? It's a really long list of just these ideas that I have, or I'll take a picture of something and I'll say, hey, that would translate into a great marketing piece. Um, and so honestly, I used to have a monthly schedule that went very quickly out the door because my volume over the last 2 years has just exploded. And this year, it's been 100% referral based business for me. I have not had to make one phone call to somebody asking them for business, or a text message, a door knock, expired, FISBO, anything. The business comes to me now. And sometimes it's like, oh, I really want to help you, but here's one of my teammates, because I don't have the time right now, because the relationships I have are very important. But it's all that past clients, and I keep my past clients happy and, enthralled in who I am and what I'm doing. And, perception is reality, where they're seeing me on a constant basis. And whether it's online or on my print marketing, they see me. And like you said, you get excited. You want to know what's in there, what's next, what has she created this time? I have to open it. You know me now, and so just kind of, and I call it the vortex. Once people get sucked into the marketing vortex, they will never be let go. And I think it's important to know, as realtors, that is our legacy. Our book of business is our money. A billion years down the line, when I decide to retire, I am hopefully, in my mind, my legacy is, here, Jane Doe, who's going to have a lot of money, willing to pay me. Here's my book of business. Here's my names. Here's all the contact information for everybody I've ever done business with. That is going to be invaluable to somebody. And I got that idea from a gal who's in the business. Her dad is retiring, and she's been in the business for a while. He's been in forever. He essentially sold her his book of business. And of course, he's going to be getting referral fees like crazy if she knows how to work them. But it's like, oh, hey, yeah, you bought a house for my dad umpteen years ago. Just FYI, I'm taking over. Just making those phone calls is going to get these people money. So in any event, that's always what's rolling in my head is, how much money can I make in however many years when I sell my business? Isn't that gross? Gosh, talk about pre-planning. I'm already talking about my retirement and death. But
It's okay.
that's exactly what it is, so it all is just fueling what's next for me.
Well, I love to hear the 100% of your business is referral based.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I talk to and coach agents all the time into you cannot rely on cold leads. Sure, they're going to be part of your business for a while, but once you've got that train going, it's hard to stop it. And that's what the consistency is. I see the whatever you call it, the poster or the plaque behind you says hustle and discipline.
Yes.
So when you're marketing and you're doing the kind of marketing you're doing, it takes discipline. So who helps you with that? Do you do it all yourself, or do you have an assistant? Who's the mouse behind the or the gerbil or the hamster or whatever in the engine?
Yeah, all of it. Right now it's all me. It's definitely a labor of love. My best friend, she loves repetitive work. So sometimes she'll come over and we'll be there like stamping, and all these things are hand stamped, hand labeled, hand stuffed, and envelopes being licked, the whole shebang. With that said, I need to get an assistant. That is in my business plan, because I've realized my time is best used creating new pieces or creating more relationships than it is licking an envelope. Just thinking about it. But so right now it is all me. Like I said, I've got the degree in design. I work with a trade printer. I actually have a side business. It's called Twisted Pixels. Imagine that. But again, it's just I do design and print for people. They need help creating business cards or flyers, whatever it is. I can design it. I have it printed and shipped to people, and it's just a really easy, just kind of thing for people because they don't know what they're doing, And that business has no overhead. I don't advertise it at all. I still make a couple $1,000 a year, and because I love it. I love to keep my hands in that design cookie jar. So with that said, I'm the one sitting in front of this computer, looking through all my ideas and like, oh, this one can be fun. How much is it going to cost? So my thinking is I am so frugal. It's ridiculous. Like if it's free, it's for me. I don't want to pay any more money than I have to. So I think, okay, you know what can go through that little automated machine at the post office cost one stamp, which is like what, 55 cents now, highway robbery, um, and envelopes and labels and all that. And so, yeah, I'm always trying to think what's going to be easiest to mail and ship out. So yeah, it's trial and error. And so shout out to the 5 people who were my guinea pigs for this last mailer. Bill was one of them, poor guy. So your office is going to be getting this very soon. I just mailed them off today. You're going to get the good version, whereas after you get it, call me and I'll tell you what happened to Bill. So I don't want to ruin the surprise for anybody, but super fun. Learn lessons the hard way. But yeah, for right now, I do everything myself. But again, it's a labor of love. I love to do this. It's fun for me. It's exciting. But the stamping and the labeling, that part is not getting to be exciting anymore. So I need to hire that out.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's impressive. You're, in a firm with 1,600 agents. You're running number 5, you and your partner, 45, 50 units a year. You're doing this all yourself and you have a side hustle. So, you've got all this going. So yeah, I would think so. You need a little bit of help. But
Absolutely.
it's amazing that you can create or do that much if you dedicate the time to it. And clearly, you've got a wonderful family, husband, kids, the whole thing. So there's got to be.
Let's we'll leave with that.
Never mind. We'll go past. But we've got all that going on. Just like after this, I mentioned baseball games, this stuff, that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's amazing you can accomplish that much with one person. So
I love to hear that. Thank you.
Cheers to that again.
Yes, for sure. It's definitely a lot. And you mentioned, creating the time. We all have the same 24 hours. I love to read and affirmate and all that. And a part of getting all of that done is not creating the time, but carving out the time, setting aside certain times for certain things. And I will be the first to admit I'm terrible at time blocking. And that's one thing in my business that I'm like, gosh, I'm going to master that someday. And I try it all the time. I put my little 1 hour block in here and my hour block in there. It goes to hell in a handbasket because someone says, I want to show a house, and I'm like, let's go see that house. You've got lending first though, right? So yeah, just being able to get all that done, plus all the extra other curriculars I do for, I'm the president / president-elect for the Women's Council. I'm the president-elect for Habitat for Humanity. So yeah, I do a lot. I run a team. Like I've got my business partner, Dave, huge help. We've got 3 other people who, work alongside us on the team. So yeah, a lot of time. And then to dedicate my time to this, it is a lot, but again, that therein comes the secret sauce, which you'll hear about someday soon. But to answer a question you asked a moment ago was how many people are currently in my database. I want to say I've got about 400 roughly. And that's between my past clients, the people on my street, other agents around, nationally, and a couple internationally, actually, like Francois Gagnon. He's in the vortex. So yeah, about 400 or so letters go out. And there's no consistency with that. It's typically about every other month though. I'm consistently not consistent, but I'm consistent with things go out around every 2 or 3 months.
Well, that's awesome. I put in the description it was quarterly because it feels like quarterly.
It does.
So that's, to me, if I notice that you're being consistent, then that's obviously you are being consistent.
Perception is reality.
So tell me about Miracle Morning.
Yeah, so that book, if you've not read that book, it's Miracle Morning by Hal Elrond, I want to say.
Yep.
That book changed my life. So essentially, he has written a book. I'm going to save you the $15, but you really need to just go buy the book. He does 6 things for 10 minutes every morning. He gets up at 5 a.m. He reads, he affirmates, he journals, he meditates, he visualizes, and he goes to the gym for 10 minutes. So I am a graduate of a public school. That's an hour, right? So
Right.
with that, I created it
So am
for,
I, by the way.
well, there we go. And we're doing okay. Good for us,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
With that, I customize it to myself. So I used to get up at 3:30. This last month, I've been very good. I've gotten up at 4, and I get most of it in. But so we'll run with 4. I get up at 4 a.m. You know, by the time you go to the bathroom, get your gym clothes on, get your cup of coffee, get settled in, get your book in front of you, you've burned at least 10 minutes, right? So I just kept getting early and earlier. I go to the gym for about an hour. I read, I affirmate, and I journal, and that is such a huge predictor on how my day is going to go, because I started my day off with intent, and it was positive intent. And I don't want to sound like a control freak, even though I am a little bit. Those are like the only hours of my day I can control. You know, it's before the kids get up, it's before the phone starts ringing, before the text message and the emails and the everything comes in. And that's why I struggle so much with, time blocking, is because, like I said, we all get those phone calls, those emails, and we're all trying to like hold the deals together, and things just happen that we can't control. So yeah, those hours, those wee hours in the morning, are really the ones that I can control, and they're positive for me. And one of the things I affirmate, this might sound silly to some, but I affirmate that I'm a local celebrity. I want people to know who I am. I want to be in the community. I want people to see me in a positive light. And for, who I am a very authentic person. What you see here is what you get. I am as crass in person as I am on here. So, it's setting expectations for people and knowing that, oh yeah, that's the Tattooed Realtor. She's great. And I want them to know that, and I'm fun, but I'm also highly educated, and I'm going to make sure that they get their values worth. So Miracle Morning, fabulous book. Buy that, read it. If you're struggling anywhere in life and, in business as well, start your morning off right.
Yeah, I have read that. I need to implement better.
Yes.
I am a night person,
Implementation.
unfortunately. I will stay up to the wee hours. I might be going to bed when you're getting up.
Probably.
But so let's talk. I mean, the whole catchphrase here was outrageous marketing. Let's start talking about that. So I have I've seen your stuff on Facebook, what you're doing, and this might not be that outrageous, but let's see. Just what is your plan for July 4th? Because I know I mentioned that in the description. I want to make sure we cover that. You were talking about, you're getting marketing pieces that are costing like 25 cents each, I guess at the dollar store type of thing. And so tell me your strategy behind that. What are you doing, and when is that going out, or has it already gone out?
So again, like I said before, I am very frugal. I spend a lot of money in marketing, but I want that money to be spent as far as possible. So I've always like, I made the joke that dollar store and Oriental Trading, those are like my corn stores. I get Oriental Trading magazine. I'm pretty sure we're all familiar with that magazine. I flip through it. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. I take a picture of it and I'll save it for later. I'll develop that later, and so typically I go to the dollar store. So last year I did these little flags. I mean, it's a little flag stapled to a stick. And I said, well, that's going to be easy to customize. So I know Photoshop, being a designer, but I was recently turned on to Canva, which is Canva, canva.com. I kind of call it, not really even Photoshop for dummies, but just Photoshop for people who don't have time to learn Photoshop. Super easy. It is free. You can upgrade to get a couple of the other items. I do not. I'm frugal. But yeah,
We do use that.
there
That's how
you
I
go.
create all this stuff. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Canva's awesome.
It's easy and it's quick, and you can save templates and colors and
Mhm.
upload your logo. So
Yep.
this year I was at the dollar store. These flags, I believe, are $3 $4. They come in a pack of 3. That's always what I'm trying to find. What can I buy the most of for the least expensive?
Sorry, your microphone keeps going in and out. I don't know if you're covering it up or something. It's probably.
This year I did these, I mean, very similar to the ones last year, but they're actually foam, and there was a couple of different designs in there. And then I popped on Canva, and this whole template was already created. I had my logo in there, popped that in there with my information. And so since I get up so early on, this might be a little creepy now that people have all the Ring doorbells and whatnot, but in the very wee hours of the morning on July 4th, I will be getting up and just walking up and down my neighborhood and stuffing these on the very, very corner of their property. Like wherever I can get it that's as far away from their door as possible, I want it. Number one, it's displayed nice and prominently. And number two, I don't want to be creeping up on their doorstep at 4 or 5 a.m. Plus, I don't want to talk to anybody at 4 or 5 a.m. because you can imagine what I look like. So, yeah, I got 4 of these for $1. Got on Canva. It took me 10 minutes of time to print those out at my office. And I want to say it took me about less than 30 minutes to tie all of these on. So if I'm $200 an hour for my volunteering breakdown, I don't do math. Figure that out. It wasn't very much to hit about 40 homes.
So it sounds like, you're one of those people that are done is better than perfect, right? There's a lot of people out there that perfect is better than done. So which one are you?
Yikes. So there's another book for you. It's How the World Sees You by Sally Hogshead. And you kind of take it's a personality quiz essentially, but it matches on like you have an archetype and it tells you who you are. My number 1 is the prestige. So I operate here and your typical person operates down here. My second one is I'm the creative mind. And so together I'm called the avant-garde, but I'm always operating up here. And so I definitely have had to tell myself like, done is better than perfect. Just get it out the door, especially when there's time crunches involved. And I'm a procrastinator on a lot of things, like why do today what I can push off until tomorrow, until I'm continuously pushing it off and it's been months down the line. So I definitely have to tell myself that it's going to be okay. Some of these little things weren't cut perfectly. It's going to be fine. Just take a deep breath and get it out the door. So I try not to be too anal retentive about some of these things, but it happens. What can I say?
Well, it's, that can be a roadblock for people, making it perfect.
Absolutely.
And it's very hard to get things done when you're like a perfectionist.
It is.
So I know I think, I'm pretty sure you reserved a few examples for us of your more outrageous marketing that you said you had several examples. So let's go through those. And what I want to know is not just what it is, but what inspired you to do that. What was the idea that bubbled up and said, I've got to do this.
Oh man. All right. So I want to say my first piece, and several people weren't even in the vortex at this point. But honestly, Michael, I don't know how some of these things come to my head. They just do. I thought, wouldn't it be cool if to my referral partners, said, well, what makes me successful? And I was like, well, gosh, what does make me successful? And it hit me. I'm like, they make me successful. You make me successful. My past clients make me successful. Because where I am in my business is, like I said, 100% referral. People remember me. They like me. They trust me. They know me. And it's all just about taking care of those people. This is the last book I'm going to talk about, but it's called 7 Levels of Communication. Michael Mayer, I believe. Fantastic. That talks all about the things that people don't do anymore that people love, like handwritten notes. I've always loved handwritten notes. That's why I love my snail mail. But 7 levels of communication, you need people to remember you. And being a master of implementation, like you said, you just got to do it sometimes. So the first piece I ever did was this silly little one. It says, you want to know the secret behind my success as a realtor? And I was like, well, what's going to make people really want to turn this over? Like, who cares about, there's me, I'm going to be silly. And I want to say it was on Snapchat one day, and they had this stupid cat filter. I'm like, perfect, because I've got a secret brand name. If you go to meowteam.com, that's really fun. So this little cat filter was there, and I said, perfect. Put that on there, and it says, hint, it's not this cat. And then I put a mirror on it. So it's Inception. There I am. So it's you. You are what makes me successful as a realtor. And this thing took me so much time and effort to put out. Like I said, labor of love. I found these on like Walmart or Joann's.com, and they were, I don't know, 8.5 by 11, something like that. I had to hand cut them into these squares, make sure my printing was spot on. And I couldn't be having this square as, not square on the paper. So perfectionism there, but it does take a while, or it takes me a while to get these things out. So for Halloween, it takes brains to sell a home. So I'll let you know right now, I'm a reverse engineer. I see a product that I like, that I know can go through the mail efficiently and pretty easily. I see these products and I say, oh, that would be perfect. Buy 500 of them and then think of the idea later. Not going to lie. I've got 3 boxes sitting over in the corner. You can't see them, thankfully, of just product that are just sitting there. I bought 500 of them. They're just sitting there because I know there's a great idea in there somewhere. So it takes brains to sell a home. And these little things, Oriental trading, I got like 500 of them for, I don't know, like $10. And I did taste one. I don't think it tastes like anything. Pretty gross, but it was memorable. And heart to care for your referrals the way you would, And so I'm letting people know I'm a real person. I'm authentic. I want to take care of you. I want to take care of your clients, and I want everybody to have a great experience.
I do remember the brains one for sure.
This one, I was very nervous.
The kids that one.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I don't even know if they liked it, but again, it's the visualness of it. It's different. No one's going to expect to get candy brains in the mail. I was afraid that this one would turn out like the most recent one I sent out, and you'll probably know why once you get it. Anyway, so again, my reverse engineering person of me, my son's last birthday, my youngest son. So when he was 3, one of my friends had gone to the dollar store and bought a pack of these mustaches, and you got like 7 of them for $1. So I'm thinking, that's pretty inexpensive. Don't ask me how much that is. I know it's pretty inexpensive. I hand cut them, and I bought a ton of these and just created this ridiculousness. Can't wait to pull off my stash of tools to help you and your customers buy and sell in Southern Utah. So they're just silly. Cheese sells, they say sex sells, sex and cheese sell. That might be a third business for me.
I did wear that around the office.
See, it's fun. It's hilarious. And yeah, people just like it because it's funny, it's just silly. So the one you had referenced earlier was this Jurassic one. So it says, we'll go to Jurassic measures to help your business grow. We want your raw referrals. And thanks again to Bill. He actually helped me create this, the heading. I was struggling with this one last year. But yeah, these little dinosaurs that grow. So you bring in that tagline with something fun. So, if you get nothing else from this little call here, it's all about being unique and fun and different. And what are people not expecting? Anybody could have sent out this flyer, like, oh, great, lots of fun colors. What's it say? 33%? Cool. It was adding this silly little dinosaur that barely made it through the machine. They gave me some hassle on that. No one expects that. That was just another level of bringing fun to mail, because we all like, oh, bills, great, that's all that comes in the mail anymore. So I kind of wanted to achieve something fun, and just like you said, something that people can't wait to open and they're curious about. The last one I've got in front of me is one of the most recent ones I did. We're a great pair, and I bought a bunch of cards, and because these are real playing cards. I won't let your clients play the Southern Utah market alone. And I actually have a whole separate brand for my people on my block. I procrastinated this one like hardcore. You can see this is my old logo. I know. But it's there are playing cards, and say, don't play the real estate market alone. So I have plans to get those delivered to my neighbors at some point during 2020, maybe. I don't know. But I took that concept, put it to this, and then I took it a step further, and on Canva created this, or I did one for the cards. This one was for the mustache. I wanted it to be unique in a sense where people could get online. How do I cross reference or cross brand so I can take my print media and move it to online and have them talk? And so it was, I offered like a gift card or giveaway or something. You have to get on and do all the things that everyone always asks you to do online, you know, like and share, whatever. But that is just another really, just kind of a fun way to bring more people into it. You know, if you share it, other people are going to see it. And again, it's just that top of mind. More people are seeing this mug and realizing I sell real estate.
Yeah, those are all amazing. I remember getting most of those. Luckily, I have kids to give at least the dinosaurs and things too.
Yeah.
So I'm not even going to go, how did you come up with that? Because some of that is beyond me. Bill, I get. And Bill is famous for saying, at least famous in my eyes, for saying iPhone notes, you know, is where ideas go to die. And so I have notebooks full of ideas. This is full. And and they, you know, this is just written that I take, and I have tons on my phone that go to die. So it's good that you take what you're at least part of what you come up with and implement, which is awesome.
Oh yeah.
But just taking what you do and from a let me ask you two questions. So the first one is these ideas you do would translate tremendously to digital, to social media. Do you translate them there? And if you do, how do you do that? Or what do you do with that?
Honestly, I have not taken it to that level because I want that uniqueness that you can only get through the post office.
Feeling right.
Yeah, and that's the whole step of it, you know. And when these things come out, I'm like, oh yeah, that's really fun, but you can't get that effect, you know, on a computer. And so I have thought about, you know, doing something similar, but right now I haven't carved the time out to create that. I've been really enveloped in these ideas because I love them. They're fun. So part of something down the line, something will come out online. I just really like that specialness of getting it in the mail and feeling it and having it in your hands and just knowing like, oh, that's a cool idea, you know, and just bringing a smile to somebody's face.
Right, right. Well, that's regardless. I mean, if you're president-elect of as many things as you said, you're gonna have no time. Take it from experience. So the other question I had was, you do some video stuff too. I've seen a few videos. What is your and let me just throw out the word strategy because I know you don't have a strategy for that.
You know me too well now.
What are you doing with video? And if you aren't doing much, do you have plans to do more? If you are doing more, what are you thinking there?
Absolutely. That is a fantastic question. Randy Kopp asked me the other day, he said, if you had like $1 million to spend on your business, what would you put it towards? I said postage and video. I used to do a lot more video than I do now. The video I do now pretty much is just me being a goof on Instagram on my, you know, my 24-hour stories, which I think there's a ton of value in that, all due to that algorithm and the top of mind awareness. People are going to get tired of seeing my little logo on Instagram, but they're seeing it. They know what I do. They've clicked on at least one video, and I watch to see who watches. And what's funny is I get generally, I think around 118, 120 views per video. I know 90% of those people. I know them face to face in person, or they're across the country, across the world, but I've had conversations with them. And that's one thing I like to do. Again, my business is relationships. So I messaged somebody the other day, a new follower, might be a stalker, who knows, has no profile picture or anything. But I just said, hey friend, we recently connected. How did you stumble upon my account? Because I want to know where people are finding me from. You know, just like in our business, hopefully everybody is asking, where did you find my name? If you have no idea where they found you, and now you know where your marketing dollars are going or what's being, you know, what's paying off for you. And so it's all about just reaching out to these people and just talking to everybody. So video, so much massive value in video. And again, I just haven't carved out the time to do video because I've been so successful doing everything else. But I do have people, or have had people, comment on something I put on YouTube like 3 years ago, and they're like, "Oh, I love Southern Utah. I've been thinking about moving there," or "I just went hiking at that hike the other day. It was amazing." So, with the right SEO tags and promoting it everywhere, that video hangs around forever. And so it's getting it out there, creating the content is always the biggest struggle. Like you said, we are being a master of implementation. We've got the ideas. Now you got to put the ideas into motion. So yeah, I have plans to do more videos. I just don't have any sort of plan to do it right now. But yeah, just getting something out there. And that a lot of people ask me because they do see my stories. They say, "Well, oh, I'm just not comfortable being on video," or "They don't want to do this." And I said, "Listen, we all know what we look like. We all know what we sound like. Everybody knows what I look like and what I sound like. Who cares? You're the only one who cares. I mean, other than, having a booger in my nose or trying to fluff my hair up every now and then, you know what I look like,
Oh,
what I sound like."
by the way, I wanted to point. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who says? I think it's Gary Vee always says, because I listen to his podcast a lot. He says, "Yeah, you don't like how you look and sound on video. Get over it, because that's how you look and sound
Yeah,
in real
exactly.
life. So just get over it." Tell me about this.
The Meow Team. So my team's name is the Now Team, and so fabulous video DVD. I don't know what we call it these days anymore. Movie, the Super Troopers. It's highly inappropriate, so totally up my alley. There's a whole skit or scene where they were saying meow instead of now. And how many times can I get away with saying meow? And so the idea my business partner and I had, we were trying to do this video, and the idea was really, how many times can we say meow in this video? And we're going to make it kind of like a hunt and peck, where people are going to be rewatching this video, trying to find out how many times we said meow. And then they're going to comment and do a little giveaway
Turn
and
into
all
a
that. And so we just yeah. And we just came up with the Meow Team, and crazily enough, nobody owned that URL. So meowteam.com, it's just another silliness, like, I sell cheese, people. Come on. You people like me because I'm ridiculous. I'm off the wall and I make them laugh, and that is memorable. So yeah, that just links to our regular page, and we have plans that, like we all do, to make it more fun and have it a couple pages deep. But
Mhm.
it's just silliness, and so every now and then when I do these kind of things, or I'm on the radio, I'll say like, "Oh, visit the meowteam.com." People get a kick out of it, but again, it's a level that people remember you by.
Well, it's something. It struck me because it's something different. It's not about real estate.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
at some point, if they're interested, if there are cat people clearly, or cat obsessed,
Yes,
they're going to go to the Meow Team and they're going to click on it. And then.
exactly. So funny. Yes, great
Well,
over many platforms.
you said radio. I think I've seen a post about that before.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Well, gosh, people love me, Michael.
Oh yeah,
Toot
I
toot.
know.
Yeah, I mean, really, people, and this one was a gal. She actually was an agent before I was, and she had some health issues, and then I became an agent, and then she saw I was becoming successful, and then she said, "I let's go to lunch. Do I stay in the business or do I get out of the business?" And I said, "Well, that's going to be a all on you question to answer." But essentially, she stayed in the business, and she's very successful these days because she's found a way to um, create a brand where she's able to bring in her nonprofit with her real estate. And so meeting with her had just such a huge impact on me. And so now she's an advocate for women and for mental health, and for babies who have passed on. And she's got an incredibly touching story. It's just like all the terrible things that you think can happen to somebody has happened to her in this one lifetime. And so I get it. She's got such an incredible, heart-wrenching story. But here she is, she's killing it and she's helping other people. And so she asked me to be on, one of her radio shows one day, talking about self-love and being selfish. And, last year that word was brought to me, and my friend said, "What do you think about the word selfish?" And I said, "Ew, like, that's that's a gross word. That's got a negative connotation. I don't like it. And he said, well, we'll find out why you have that reaction to that word. What is it about that word that just rubs you the wrong way? So in a nutshell, after months, or not months, but after a month of looking at the dictionary of all things, and just reading up, I'm like, selfish isn't a bad word. Selfish is a great word. We should be selfish. And I think in our business, I know especially me, like I said, I do all of this stuff. I want to make sure everybody else is taken care of. And at the end of the day, I might have time for a shower or to paint my toenails or, whatever it is. But it's like we are pulled in so many different directions. And people, their biggest purchases they're probably ever gonna make rest on our shoulders. Where your kid's gonna be resting his head tonight lies on my shoulders. And so it's really making sure that we're taking care of ourselves. Put your own mask on first before you can help anybody else. Um, so that's what one of my video shows was, and she just respected that I love being an advocate for people taking care and just make sure you're taking care of you because mental health it's not a joke, and especially these days we're finding out that hey, more and more people are actually struggling with these things. It's been so taboo, and now we're all free to talk about it. Like, oh, you struggle with that, me too, and now we can connect and form a relationship and know that hey, there's other people just like us, and we've got support in many different ways. So
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. I wasn't aware of
thank you.
doing that. So, if we're getting on an hour, which I respect your time. I know you have an appointment. I know you're like 17 hours behind us. So we
True.
it's you've definitely brought a lot of value right now today, and it's just this hour. Couple more things, and then I'll let you go. But I've noticed a couple times on your Facebook page, and of course in other areas, people want you to speak, talk, whatever. What are some things you've been invited to speak at, or? And I know right now we're like nobody's going anywhere; it's all Zoom. But prior to this, like, what were some things that you got asked to speak at that you thought was an honor, or something that you were really proud to be part of?
Everything. um, and I've said this before, I'll say it many times. Our time is the most valuable thing that we have. I can make more money, I can buy more stuff, I can have more experiences, but I'm not always going to have that time. I mean, we like to think, our goals are we're going to live to be 90, 100, however old we're going to live, but realistically, an airplane can crash on the house right now and I could die. And so, who I choose to spend my time with and speak at, like, these are things I'm passionate about. So I've been asked again to talk about self-love and self-care on a couple different aspects. The biggest thing these days is what we're doing right here is all about branding and what sets me apart from other people. So like I mentioned earlier, Cheryl and I had a pretty in-depth conversation today about branding and kind of commingling some business ideas that we have. And so I'm super excited for that. But these are all things I'm passionate about. Like I said, I'm on the Women's Council, and that's all about bringing education and creating leaders. And I'm huge with education because what I don't know scares me. And I don't know what I don't know. And that scares me more.
Right.
Yeah, so really just on education, self-love, being selfish, and just helping other agents, which is kind of apparent through the education. People have asked me, like, why are you sharing this idea with me? And I'm like, well, number one, statistically, you're probably not going to do it. I mean, we could have everybody's higher power in one room, and they're giving us the tips of the trade, the tools to unlock the universe. Statistically, probably less than 1% of the room is going to do it. Like, I just gave you everything you need. All you have to do is tie your shoes and go. Not everybody's going to do it, and that's fine. But I want to help groom other agents. A huge part of me is creating a legacy, not only for my kids, but for agents. I was awarded the opportunity to not really serve under, but I was taken under the wing of a very experienced agent when I was brand new. He said, I was given this opportunity. A seasoned agent said, hey, come on, be my helper, just ride in the car with me. And I said, oh, okay, cool. I just got to hear how he talked on the phone. I was the one just like walking behind him taking notes at a listing appointment. But as new agents, we learn all the laws and all the rules, all the stuff that we're not supposed to talk about, and meets and bounds. No one remembers that.
No.
But yeah, I couldn't even tell you what it is right now. But it's all about relationships. How do I talk to somebody? I'm knocking on the door. I know how to write a contract. How do I get to that point? When you
Right.
knock on the door, as my business partners mentioned, everyone sets us up for, yeah, you can do all this, but when you knock on the door, what happens when they say yes? Yes, I want to sell my home. Then you're like, oh, okay, I'll be back.
Now what?
Yeah, exactly. Now what? And so I think it's that education aspect. I was given the privilege to watch how somebody worked in real time, um, and to help them with their business. And not everybody is granted that. And I think that's why we have such a huge turnover in this industry. Is we have a massive lack in education and a massive lack in just hands-on experiences, like role playing. Let me just watch you talk to somebody because I have no idea the questions to ask in a listing appointment, So things like that are very valuable to me. So I want to pass them on.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you on the, hey, there's really no secret sauce. It comes down to hard work.
Yeah.
And you can just, especially in real estate, is not that difficult. And what I tell new agents is it's not rocket science, right? And so I am perfectly willing, just like you are, just like most people in ERA are, is here's what we do, here's how we do it. I'll spread it all around, who I know, local community, local realtors, knowing good and well they won't take it and do anything with it. And that's the problem. I think that, and that's what thank you for being on here today, because what you've brought is a total different perspective. I mean, it's a lot of it is like, oh, what's the next technology? What's the next tool that's going to make it easier for me to sell real estate to where I don't have to talk to people. I don't have to go do anything. I can just plug in, I can put my credit card in, and then I'm going to get sales. Well, the reality is, and I tell every new agent this, it's not rocket science. It's just work. There is no secret sauce.
Yep.
So I'll stand in front of a group and tell them everything we do. And knowing good and well, we're at the end of the day, we'll still be the only ones doing it.
Actually,
and you are the same way. I mean, nobody's going to copy you. Nobody's going to put the effort and work in that you do. So, and that's awesome.
And will you wrap it up with this sign behind me? Hustle and discipline. You know, as our own bosses, no one's telling me to get up at 4 a.m. No one's requiring me. No one requires me to even get out of, my PJs in the morning, but I do because I want to be successful. Real estate, as we know, you get out of it what you put into it. You can't expect to be a superstar agent and making, money and forming relationships if you only decide to work an hour a week,
Right.
So yeah, just like you said, it's those people who really want to invest the time and effort. I mean, you already got your license. Why not be great? So I commend those people who do want to do more, and those who are struggling, reach out to me. I'd love to talk to anybody who, might need some help or some tips or whatnot, or who just wants to talk. But it's reaching out for the information. That's always the first step. Is you want to know more? Cool. Seek it out and let's make it happen. So
exactly. Well, I appreciate your time today. Clearly, we respect that. I know you have an appointment. And Miracle Morning.
Yep.
Not everybody's going to get up at 4 a.m. or 3:30.
Nope.
Like I said, I'm up till then, maybe.
Exactly.
But,
do the office for you.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You brought a totally different perspective, and I know that anybody who sees this in the future, because that's my goal, is like people see it down the road, not necessarily right now, but some people have. We've had people on. This is awesome. Yeah. But I appreciate it. Your ideas are amazing. Your inspiration is for people who aren't necessarily techie, who are saying, hey, I don't know how to do all these things. What you do is not hard. It just comes down to work and a little bit of creativity. And if they don't have any creativity, guess what? They can probably call you for ideas.
Exactly. So, I've got an amazing personal assistant. Her name is Google. Type in the ideas that you're looking for. That will help you hone it in. Trust me. Don't steal things. Don't steal pictures, but you can get some great ideas. But yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Michael, for having me. I appreciate it. And yeah, if anybody has questions, feel free to reach out.
Have a great 4th. I appreciate it. We will talk soon. Hopefully we will see each other in person at the next event. Let's hope soon.
All right. I'll see you later. Bye.
Bye, Beverly.